Hello, my name's Kevin, and I'm going to be answering a question from Yahoo Answers. The question was, okay, if we have the cosine of theta equals 4/5, what possible values of tangent and sine could we possibly have if the cosine is currently 4/5? Well, what's good to know is whenever we're talking about a trig function, we're really talking about a triangle that's located on the coordinate axis. So here's our triangle. Here's theta. It's a right triangle, so I'll draw that in. The side across from it I've labeled y, which is nice because that's the vertical, like the y-axis. The x is this one right here, which is what we can think about as the horizontal axis, and this r is the hypotenuse. What's really nice is now that we've laid it out like this, we can peel off some relationships. So the sine of theta is really y over r. The cosine of theta, because it's adjacent over hypotenuse, is x over r. And the tangent is y over x. And that's because the tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. With this, we can look at cosine of theta equals 4/5. Well, cosine is really x over r, so x equals 4, r equals 5. So in order to answer sine, we need to know y, and in order to answer tangent, we need to know y. So we need a way to relate x, y, and r. What's really nice is x, y, and r are on this right triangle. Well, a right triangle, we know something very special about right triangles from the Pythagorean theorem. We know that x squared plus y squared equals r squared. The two sides squared added together is equal to the hypotenuse squared. So we just plug that right in. Well, okay, x equals 4, r equals 5, so x squared is 16 plus y squared, we don't know that yet, equals r squared, which is 25. We subtract 16 from both sides, we get y squared equals 9, or y equals 3. Now, if you know also we take a square root, you could get a negative sign. We can just throw that away, and the reason is because we're talking about distance, and negative distance doesn't really make much sense. So we're just going to use the positive square root, which is 3. So we know that y is 3, x is 4, and r is 5. So we can answer any of these trig relationships now. We can say, for instance, the sine of theta has to equal the y value divided by the r value, so that's 3 divided by 5. And the cosine of theta equals x over r, 4 over 5, we get right back there, so we didn't need to do that one. Tangent is equal to y over x, so that is 3 over 4. And there we have all of the trig relationships. I hope that helps. Alright, now for the second part of the question. The second part of the question said that the cosine of theta equals 0.2, and the cosine of theta plus 2 pi plus the cosine of theta plus 4 pi. That's what they want you to figure out right here. Well, the way this works out is, remember, whenever we're talking about trig, we're talking about a triangle. But we're actually talking about a very specific triangle, a triangle that's on what's called a unit circle. So this is a circle of radius 1. It just circles around. It's centered around the origin of the x and y coordinate. And here's that triangle, and theta would be like right here. Okay, so there's theta. And this is the same problem as before, but now we're imagining, okay, here's the circle that goes all the way around, and its radius is 1. Well, it ends up, since its radius is 1, then if the radius is 1 in radians, you know, it's a certain amount to get to here. But to go all the way around, it's 2 pi radians. That's the key. 2 pi. Because that's the distance around the circumference of a circle with radius 1 is 2 pi. So if we're here at theta, and then we go around again 2 pi, we end up in the same exact location as we were before. So cosine of theta plus 2 pi, well, this angle right here is the same angle, so this is the same as theta. So it's really the cosine of theta. Well, the cosine of theta plus 4 pi, well, now here's theta. If we go around 2 pi, we go around once. And if we go another 2 pi, we go around another time. But we still end up at the same exact location. So the cosine of theta plus 4 pi is also the cosine of theta. Alright, now since we know the cosine of theta equals 0.2, the cosine of theta plus the cosine of theta is 0.2 plus 0.2, which equals 0.4. And that's the answer. This was a trick question. Whenever you add 2 pi or subtract 2 pi or any multiple of 2 pi, you'll always get back to the same location, so it's always the same angle. I hope that helps, and good luck with your homework.